Trig Honors students, here's a quick part 2 of review for the final exam coming up tomorrow. Let's take a look at this one, number 18. It says find the solutions of each equation. No calculators allowed here. So this one is going to be a little bit more involved than the one we did before, which is number 17. It says sine squared x equals sine x minus 2. Because we have a square here, it's like x squared equals x plus 2. That's what it's like. It's going to take everything to one side. So the first step would be to subtract sine x from each side of the equation. So we end up with sine squared x, should be sine squared x minus sine x is equal to 2. Next, we're going to subtract the 2. We're going to bring everything to one side. So 2 take away 2, that gives us 0. So here we have sine squared x minus sine x minus 2 equals 0. And here again, I'd like you to think of this as x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, let's take it over here. And to make it simpler to look at and to deal with, we say let y be equal to sine x. That means sine squared x becomes y squared, sine x becomes y, minus 2 equals 0. And now we can think about factoring this quadratic equation into two binomials. So we have y times y to give us the y squared. To get a negative 2, 1 it's got to be a negative 1 times a positive 2, or a positive 1 times a negative 2. Now since our middle term here is negative, we're going to make the bigger one negative, like this. So it's y minus 2, y plus 1 equals 0. And you might recall from algebra that if you multiply two binomials to get 0, then either y minus 2 would have to be 0, or y plus 1 would have to be 0. Taking a look at this option, we have y, which is now back to sine x. Sine x would have to be 2. That's when we add the 2 to both sides. And we have to discard this solution. So if you think of the unit circle, sine x has a maximum value of 1, minimum value of negative 1. So that solution has got to be discarded. However, when we subtract the 1 from both sides here, we have y, which is equal to sine x, is equal to negative 1. And this implies, I'm sure all of you know, this implies that x has to be what? 3 pi over 2. Just one solution as we contain ourselves between 0 and 2 pi. So that would be that one. If we take a look at this one here, try to use up the space for that, we have 2 tan squared minus theta minus 6 equals 0. And we add 6 to both sides, we get 2 tan squared theta equals 6. Divide both sides by 2. And here we're considering the tan squared like x squared. So we have tan squared theta is equal to 3. And we take the square root of both sides. We have tan theta is going to be equal to square root of 3. And I purposely left out something. You know what that is? Trust you remember plus or minus. Alright, so we got a lot of solutions to this. What value of theta would give me, what angle would give me a tan theta of positive 3. Well, positive, you know, is going to be in the first quadrant. So you remember, in the first quadrant, we have to locate the place where tan, which is sine over cosine, where this sine is square root of 3 over 2. That would give us root 3. And if that is so, then the cosine is going to be 1/2 and the 2's will cancel. What angle is this going to be? I trust you know that angle here is going to be pi over 3. Pi over 3. So that's one solution here. Theta is pi over 3. And you know it's going to be some angle with 3 in the denominator. So if we go to the second quadrant, what would it be? In the second quadrant, the sine will be positive, the cosine will be negative, so that would satisfy the negative aspect of it here. So that would be 2 pi over 3. And when we go to the third quadrant, that would be 4 pi over 3. There, sine would be negative, cosine is negative, so tan would be positive, satisfying the positive requirement. And finally, in the fourth quadrant, where cosine is positive and sine is negative, the negative feature would be satisfied, and that would be 5 pi over 3. So we have a lot of solutions here to this one. Okay? So I trust that will prove helpful to you. See what we have on the next page. On this page here, let's solve each triangle, round lengths of sides to the 10th place, and angles to the nearest degree. I trust this will be fine with you. All of you really did well on this, but let me just change the scenario here. What if I change this one like this? I don't know this angle. Let's say this side length were 18, and this side length were given as 12. And I didn't know this angle, and I have to solve this triangle to find the angle. I know the three sides, A, B, and C. Here we'd have to employ the law of cosine, and I'll just work one through with you so you can see how that's done. Let's say we want to find angle B. So we put the spotlight on angle B and employ law of cosines with length B squared is equal to what? I'm sure you could just rattle it off now. A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times the cosine of angle B. That's what that would be. So here we know length B is 12, so 12 squared is going to be equal to 20 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 18 times 20 times the cosine of angle B, and that's how we'd find angle B. 12 squared, you know, is 144. 20 squared, you might know, is 400. 18 squared, I think it's 324. Let me double check with my calculator. 18 squared, 18 squared, yes, it's 324. And then 2 times 18 is 36. 36 times 20. Let me work that out. 36 times 20. That's 720 cosine of angle B. All right, the next step now would be to put like terms together, because this right here is like 720 times x, and we want to solve it for this B over here. So let's put the like terms together first. 400 plus 324. I'm going to go down here. 144 equals 400 plus 324, that's 724 minus 720 cosine of angle B. And what do you think the next step would be? Well, I trust you saw it. We're going to subtract 724 from both sides. That would give us, I'm just going to use my calculator here, 724 with 144. I got negative 580 is equal to negative 720 cosine B. And then what? Divide both sides by negative 720. So cosine B is negative, divided by negative, be a positive. So B itself will be the angle whose cosine is 580 over 720. So we're going to go to our calculator with the inverse cosine function here now. So here I go. 580 divided by 720. And inverse cosine, that gives me about 36 degrees. So the measure of angle B be about 36 degrees. Alright, so that's the way you work that out. Again, make sure you put like terms together here first, and then you divide by the negative 720, because the cosine B is like your x variable. Alright, I trust that will help, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.